There's also definitely a level of disconnect between the people shopping for cleanroom coveralls and the people using them. So users tend to not have as much of a voice in the selection process. So for the first time, I feel like we're bringing the user's voice into the product design.
We were initially drawn to this project by Owens and Minor, where they were proposing to find some way to improve the ease of donning of cleanroom coveralls.
The whole point of a clean room is to minimize the particles being emitted into the clean rooms. And so the materials have to follow strict protocols in addition to being wearable.
Current coveralls on the market have been described as being hot or sweaty. They can be tight, but generally the consensus that we've gotten from talking to different users has been that they're just uncomfortable. Our project works at the intersection of material science engineering, biomedical engineering, and a tad bit of garment design. The critical inputs that our team is really hoping to focus on and tackle are breathability and moisture vapor wicking, as well as some size inclusivity.
We're currently working on prototyping our coverall. So on the outside of the coverall, we have a non-woven textile material that's going to act as the barrier. And this material alone would kind of be what we see in coveralls offered on the market. But what we've been working on is adhering an internal layer, which is the moisture wicking and absorptive layer. You can see that we've been spraying the layers together and then cutting out the shapes so that we can sew the coverall.
The amount of times we go over the design process and how to do that correctly, effectively, while really taking into account the most important part, the value that we're bringing. I think Capstone is really good at being the culmination of all of that.
There's science behind, different testing methods, or looking at properties of different materials or how you want them to perform and knowing what material is best based on performance.
We have to balance the permeability of our material to particles and air. We want moisture vapor to transmit through to wick away sweat, but we don't want to increase the amount of particles that get through the material. So to do that, we're actually going to be using material that's already cleanroom approved on the outside. And so to wick away moisture, we're going to be combining different materials in different ways and testing how much moisture vapor gets transmitted through, or the moisture vapor transmission rate, or MVTR, over the course of an hour.
The other aspect of our coverall design is a hair-inclusive hood, which Trey has on currently. We were talking to users and they were describing the issues that they have with it, whether it be as a result of their hairstyle, it doesn't fit and they have to use multiple different hoods to cover their hair. A lot of the people that were talking about these issues, primarily with the hood, were Black women.
So with the hood design, we thought, why not ask the minority of people who are always covering their head for advice on how to comfortably cover your head for long periods of time. So the head cover is definitely hijab-inspired. So because you wrap it behind your head and hold it from the outside and bottom and then pull it over, it checks all of the boxes of being donned sterilely, aseptically, while also being inspired by a really cool subpopulation of people.
I think by modifying the hood and really improving the design and making it be able to be accommodable for different groups of people with different hairstyles, just inclusive on that front, I think more people will be able to see themselves not only in clean rooms, but in STEM in general. And I think that's a really large impact that we'll be making.
The reason that our solution hasn't already been seen isn't necessarily because we've reached the peak of scientific discovery and we have to do a lot of R&D into new materials or reinvent the wheel from scratch. It's probably because we don't have enough people at the intersection of disciplines, and BME is really good at that. We're very specifically trained to know a lot about a lot of things so that we can bring in the depth of knowledge from multiple fields and combine those ideas.